It is true that the best watches in the world can cost a fortune, however the coolest watches in the world certainly do not. If you want to lace up your favourite sneakers whilst wearing the latest hyped up timepiece, then you're in the right place. In this video I'll show you the 5 cheapest but coolest watches in the world. This first watch divides opinion amongst watch enthusiasts. Some people love it and some people absolutely hate it. However, there is no denying that it is a very, very cool watch. Here it is. It's fair to say that I'm not the biggest fan of the Moonswatch. The main reason for this is because I don't believe that it's good value for money when you compare it with other watches that are around the same price. However, there is no doubt that the watch is super cool. Let me explain. I mean, this is the only watch that says Omega on the dial and strap without costing $5,000. This is a super playful pick, especially the more fun and flamboyant colours. Another massive factor in making this watch cool is the exclusivity. These watches are hard to get hold of. They aren't available in many Swatch stores, and even when they are, there are usually only the versions that aren't as desirable. That being said, the prices on places like eBay and Chrono24 have begun to drop as of late, meaning that you can actually pick one of these up for around retail price. I have had a ton of fun with my Moonswatch, hitting the town and doing some shopping, posting my Moonswatch on Instagram on Speedy Tuesdays. You can have the experience of trying out the Speedmaster looking case for a very decent price, and even if you buy one and don't like it, the likeliness is you'll be able to sell it for around the same amount that you bought it for. However, if anyone knows what the Moonswatch is and they see it on your wrist, you'll get a little nod of respect for having something that's got all the hype and is hard to get hold of. This is certainly a watch for the person who doesn't take themselves too seriously, one who enjoys having fun and hunts for excitement, especially if you already have some other watches in the collection that are a little bit bland. Add in a Moonswatch and pump some life into your hobby. Do be careful though, because the build quality isn't amazing. Don't be knocking it too hard or getting it wet. It will probably break. There is no denying though that the Moonswatch is a super cool little wristwatch with plenty of life. Strap it on, have some fun, and remember, don't take life too seriously. Don't you just hate it when people say, well, things used to be better back in my day? Well, sometimes that's actually true, especially with this next watch. Check it out. Seiko is one of the most respected and desirable watch brands on the planet. Their history and quality is unrivaled in the watch world by so many brands. However, not too long ago, Seiko switched up how they do business. They decided to go more upmarket, discontinuing popular models and increasing prices across the board. So it's when we take a look back at these discontinued models where we can really find some real gold of the watch world. This is the Seiko 5 SNKL23, a bit of an icon in the affordable watch world. Back in early 2017, this particular model went viral in the online watch community, quickly becoming one of the best value watches that money can buy. It achieved this title because of the breathtaking detail and beauty of this watch for such an affordable price, like having a perfectly cooked Wagyu steak for only $5. This statement still holds true to this day. Even though this discontinued watch has risen in price, the fact that it's still around $150 is just remarkable. Most modern releases don't stack up against this discontinued piece. The level of detail on this watch should be illegal considering the price. The vertical stripes on the outer dial, the frame date window, and the stunning Dauphine hands. This wristwatch is packed with an eye-watering amount of detail and high level of finishing for less than a heavy night out in your local town. The sophisticated look just breathes pure class. The look is incredibly versatile and works in a variety of both casual and smart situations. And the fact that this watch is discontinued and fairly hard to get hold of just makes it that more cool. A lot of new enthusiasts won't know much about this watch. It takes an educated, experienced collector to appreciate what this Seiko is offering. A pot of gold from a time gone by. A time when Seiko were the kings of the affordable watch world, offering some of the cheapest yet coolest watches that money can buy. Okay, so coming up next, if you're somebody that likes a sharp looking watch, this next watch is the slickest looking watch in the affordable watch market. Vintage items are incredibly desirable, from vintage cars to vintage wristwatches. The only problem is these retro collectibles usually cost a fortune, especially in good condition. So the next best thing is without question a vintage watch reissue. This gives us all those vintage looks and vibes without the ridiculous price tag. That's exactly what we get here with the Tissot PRX. If you haven't already heard of this watch, then you must be living under a rock. The PRX has taken over the watch space in the last couple of years, popular for its clean and industrial aesthetic. This piece is all about the looks, the angles of the bracelet, the beautiful sunburst dial, the differences of polished and brushed surfaces. Every single surface has a point of interest and will keep you looking at the watch for hours like it's your favourite favourite Netflix show. For less than $300, you have an endless choice of dial colours to suit your wacky and wonderful personality. Or you can just keep it simple with a deep blue or black option too. Whichever you pick, you're getting one of the coolest yet hottest watches in the world. This PRX has found its way into so many enthusiast collections for a reason. It offers a look that nothing else can do around the same sort of price. Typically, this style of watch would cost an eye-watering amount of cash. I'm talking about watches that can cost upwards of $100,000. However, we get a slice of the sweet pie for a wallet-friendly cost. The PRX is the ultimate casual watch. Whether it's t-shirt and jeans or your favourite sweater, the PRX is almost impossible to wear and not look like the coolest kid in town. So who needs to spend a fortune on a vintage timepiece when you can go and pick up a brand new one, built with the best materials by one of the best Swiss brands in the world, all packed into one of the slickest cases in the watch world. Okay, time to move on. Nothing screams "I don't care" quite as much as an all gold watch, and it's even better when the thing only costs you $50. This watch is so good. Check it out. Pull out your sunglasses and slick back your hair because we're taking a look at an absolute stunner of a watch. Nothing screams cool quite like an all gold Casio. This is the Casio Vintage Annie Digi. And what's cooler than having one time on the dial? Well, two. This Casio watch displays two different time zones on the face of the watch at the same time. The upper being a more traditional clock face and the lower a digital display that has the capability to display over 30 different time zones with a mere click of a button. All of this is packed into an incredibly small, lightweight build that looks effortlessly stylish. It doesn't matter if you're rocking a crisp white polo or topless on the beach. This Casio oozes style and confidence. The vintage vibes on the watch just confirms that you just don't care. You don't need a Rolex, Omega, or whatever else somebody's fragile ego might need. You know a good watch when you see one. It's also a fact that your Casio tells time more accurately than any Rolex can do. You wouldn't be seen dead in a Louis Vuitton shop because you know Carhartt and Uniqlo sell better clothes anyway. Just to top it all off, the gold-plated steel has just enough flash and pizzazz to fool even the snobbiest of people. In a world where the majority think bigger is better, stray away from that crowd with this petite faux gold piece. From the beautiful textured dial to the tapering of the bracelet, take confidence in the details. All this style and substance comes in for less than $50. Casio are the kings of the budget watch world for a reason. They produce super cool wristwatches that will be your daily companion. Now let's move on to the last watch in today's video. This one is super under the radar, not really many people know about it. Now forget flashy, flamboyant and high-tech watches. This next watch is all about function and it does it with effortless style. Here it is. In a world full of sports watches, from the octagonal bezels to diamond indices, there is something so beautiful about wearing something that's so basic and stripped back. There's not a single person who would double take what's on your wrist. Let me introduce you to the CWC G10. On surface level, this is just another generic field watch, but dig deeper and find out so much more. This is a timepiece with an incredible history, rivaling even the most historic watches on the planet. This CWC G10 was actually issued by the Ministry of Defence to the British military, actually on the wrists of soldiers for over 28 years. This is a real military watch, experiencing real-world conflicts, explosions, heats and pressure, built for the purpose of surviving harsh conditions. The best part of this pick is, it's certainly the type of timepiece that you wouldn't find on a rich kid's wrist. It doesn't have the sparkle and the name that attracts large egos, which just makes this watch that bit sweeter. It takes somebody who appreciates watches to wear one, knowing that these things aren't pieces of jewellery and they're in fact proper tools. Don't be mistaken by the basic looks though. These little beauties are made like tanks, pun intended. And even though they might not have the flash of the big Swiss brands, these CWCs are actually made in Switzerland. These models are full of charm and character. From the acrylic crystal to the battery hatch on the back, there's just something so effortlessly cool about these slick little tickers. Wearing a watch built to military spec is the ultimate flex in my opinion, even if it might not see more use than eating a pizza on the couch. Typically, watches with such a unique history cost a fortune. Well, these watches come in at an affordable $300, so you can really own a piece of history, built to last for a very fair price. So, as some watches are polarizing, acquired tastes list, let's say. There are some out there that are widely accepted as being super cool. These frequently can't be described. It's hard to communicate exactly what makes a watch slick and ice cold. It's just something that sometimes happens, and no matter what your taste, style, or preference is, they achieve something that not many do: wide appreciation for pure style and substance. I believe that all 5 of these watches mentioned in today's video are just mega cool, whether it be the story of their history or just the pure aesthetics of the piece. They transcend modern trends and hype and create their own narrative of status. There is also no doubt that all of the watches on today's list are affordable, ranging from $50 to just a few hundred. The statement I made at the beginning of today's video that cool watches don't have to cost a fortune, I believe I have proved to you is indeed true. If you liked this video, then be sure to leave a like rating and check out my video here on 10 affordable underrated watches enthusiasts should know.